Given that the Rebbe and obviously others in the ghetto had an understanding of what was happening during the war to the Jewish people, how, if at all, how did the Rebbe frame what we would, looking post, frame the Holocaust within Jewish history?
Wow. So again, this is one of the unusual aspects of the book, because this is the Rebbe was pretty honest about what he felt at the time, and even though we know that he went back in 1942 and edited things, as far as we can tell, he didn't remove anything. He might draw lines through it as if to say, I don't want this to be published, but he included it in the manuscript. He wanted people to know he was thinking it. Fascinating, I think, in some ways. And I lost hold of your question. What was the question again? How
did the Rebbe frame the Holocaust within Jewish history?
Thank you so much. So I think one of the most often quoted passages of Aish Kodesh is a note that the Rebbe wrote on his drasha of December 1940 in Hanukkah. He wrote the original drasha, early on in the war, and then probably in late 1942, actually, I think he dated it, I think it was August 1942, he went back and he added a paragraph. In the original, he said, it was obviously talking about Hanukkah, talking about the war of the Hashmonayim, and he essentially said there, it's really bad now. Again, that unformed now, when is that now? But based on, what I know about Jewish history, and it's been bad before. We had the persecution of the Syrian Greeks, we had the persecution of the pogroms, we had, all kinds of things. And so why should we think that our generation should be exempt from these kinds of things? But it's nevertheless, it's part and parcel of what it means to be Jewish. And he's not saying he's happy about it, but he's essentially saying that this is normal. When he wrote his note on that passage, he didn't delete that whole drasha. He wrote a note and he says essentially, I was wrong. He says, when I wrote that note, it was December 1940, and only certain things had happened. But after the horrific things that have happened in 1941, and especially the horrible 1942, I can say, and I'm paraphrasing, that based on my knowledge of Jewish history and the entire corpus of rabbinic literature, there's never, ever been a time like this. This is totally new. It's completely unprecedented, and Hashem should save us immediately. So I think that's, probably the biggest takeaway message. And it shows also his humility, his intellectual humility, and his greatness, that, he's willing to take back something and say, I don't really understand this. It's totally beyond my ken. It's terrifying.